We receive a report from an old friend that the wild boars have returned. It's not the first time he's called for help like this, but this time it's much more serious. The iron fence around his house was broken apart. The cornfield was plowed up like a battlefield. Now follow me to track down these destroyers. They will pay the price. This morning, I decided to bring my weapon and enter the forest to track the wild boar's trail. I hope to eliminate a few wild boars to reduce these destructive pests. Shortly after, the first prey appeared. I quietly hid behind a shady tree trunk, carefully drew my bow, and aimed to shoot. A perfect shot. Moving into a swampy forest, the weather was quite sunny, and the trees didn't provide enough shade, but a boar quickly came into my sights. It was moving alone at a considerable distance. I had to quietly approach to get the best shooting position. Today, I have achieved great results. We ambushed at a swamp area where the water had receded. The wild boar tracks were hardened and the mud cracked. Moving quietly, it took me quite a while before I could take a shot. A large boar with thick, black fur became the final trophy of the day. While searching for the next group, our dogs suddenly burst into loud barking. They had cornered a boar. Seizing the moment while it was locked in struggle with the pack, I moved in and delivered a clean shot, quick and decisive. After a few exhausting chases, we planned to take a short break, but right then, a wild boar darted past our line of sight. Without hesitation, I fired a few rapid shots and dropped the target within seconds, a solid display of sharp reflexes and years of experience. The boars sensed danger and bolted at high speed, but we launched a full-on assault. The first shots rang out, marking the start of an all-out battle. As we followed the trail, a few were already taken down, but we didn't stop there. The goal was to eliminate the entire herd, so we ignored the down ones and chased after the fleeing targets. About an hour later, we spotted a lone boar trapped near a stream. It was the perfect chance to close in. I moved slowly and quietly, then fired the finishing shot, clean and efficient. Today's hunt was a huge success. We managed to take out a significant number of wild boars. But we pushed ourselves further, determined to get the best results possible before wrapping up the day. And in the end, we completed our mission with flying colors. In recent years, the increase in the number of wild boars has become a serious problem for many farms. An adult wild boar can weigh from 80 to 150 kilograms, with a body length of up to 1.5 m, and their strength allows them to destroy fences, causing considerable damage to farmers. In particular, this herd of wild boars can destroy entire crops in just one night, or destroy livestock barns. The serious problem is that wild boars have the ability to reproduce very quickly. A female can give birth to 6 to 12 piglets per year. The overpopulation of this species has caused farmers and livestock keepers to face terrible losses. The situation was now very urgent. We immediately started preparing for a wild boar hunt that night. Each of us in our group brought a specialized hunting weapon, flashlight, and thermal scope to observe the target in the dark. With the support of modern technology, we could observe the entire farm area and detect the location of the wild boars as soon as they started to attack. The action plan was very simple, but no less dangerous. We divided the team into small groups. Each group would approach from different directions to ensure that the wild boars could not escape or counterattack. After about 30 minutes of waiting, dark shadows appeared and disappeared behind the grass. The wild boars were about 500 meters from the farm area. The thermal scope showed that the saboteurs were gradually entering the farmland. We decided to attack from 2 directions. 7. The first target was a wandering wild boar, which would be a good opportunity to attack. After just a few seconds, a gunshot rang out, and the wild boar weighing more than 100 kilograms collapsed. The gunshot caused the herd of wild boars to panic, and they scattered and ran into the nearby forest area. Continuously firing, we took down 5 more wild boars.
Hey, what you got there, bud?
After the wild boars dispersed, we decided to move and search for a target. The results showed that a group of 20 wild boars were gathering near the grassy area. However, things were not too difficult as the thermal scope allowed us to aim accurately. Although the weapon was equipped with a silencer, the continuous attack also caused the wild boars to panic. Unable to miss the opportunity, I immediately asked for support from my teammates. In the dark night, the gunshots kept ringing, and the saboteurs were eliminated one by one. We thought that the wild boars had retreated, but when we got closer, we suddenly discovered another herd of wild boars preparing to attack the barn area. Changing tactics, we attracted the attention of the wild boars with our cries. Then, seizing the opportunity, we aimed accurately at the vital spot and pulled the trigger. Perfect. One shot, one kill. Moving to the surrounding lands, as we approached the cultivated area, the herd of wild boars appeared from different directions. In particular, there were a few wild boars weighing more than 120 kilograms, extremely ferocious, destroying a cultivated area. We decided to surround and attack from many sides. With extremely fast reflexes, I shot accurately and took down this giant wild boar in just a few seconds. After 10 minutes of intense fighting, we continued to take down 10 more wild boars. Taking advantage of the chaos, a few targets escaped. Quickly following the trail, with their cunning, they used the tall and dense grass as shelter. However, that was completely meaningless. In the end, the wild boar herd was completely destroyed. After the bloody battle that night, we proceeded to clean up the battlefield. The carcasses of the wild boars were taken out of the farm area to avoid attracting other animals. The wild boar meat will be processed and used for economic purposes.
Invasive feral pigs, a terrifying threat that has become a nightmare for many rural areas in the United States. Herds of feral pigs, with their enormous size, weighing up to 200 kilograms and strong destructive instincts have caused serious damage to crops, destroyed local ecosystems, and even threatened human safety. With no other choice, the government and people were forced to launch an extermination campaign, combining trapping and hunting to deal with this invasive species.
Go ahead and take him. Now.
Wild pigs are not easy opponents to deal with. They are intelligent, move in groups, and are mainly active at night when darkness conceals their movements. To increase effectiveness, our strategy is divided into two stages: trapping and hunting. Large traps are placed in where wild boars are common, such as near water sources and in fields. The type of trap used to catch wild boars is usually a large cage trap, made of sturdy steel to prevent damage. Bait is an important factor in determining the success of the trap. We will use corn and fruit. These are wild boar favorite foods, especially roasted corn, which has a fragrant smell. The trap usually has an automatic door, which is activated when the wild boar steps inside. After setting the trap, we will retreat and monitor remotely using infrared cameras or motion sensors. These devices help observe the actions of wild boars without scaring them. The forest is dark. The space is so quiet that every little sound becomes clear. While waiting for the target to fall into the trap, we will move to another area to hunt at night. This is the time when wild boars are most active, and we cannot waste any opportunity. Experienced hunters, equipped with rifles and specialized tools. We all understand that this is not just a normal hunt, but also a mission to protect the lives of an entire community from the destruction of invasive wild boars. Suddenly, a noise rang out from ahead. We all stopped, held our breath, and listened. A giant wild boar, weighing at least 160 kilograms, slowly walked out of the bushes. Under the faint light from the moon, its huge body appeared. Its small, bright eyes scanned the surrounding area as if searching for food. Everything was ready. I quickly raised my gun, aiming straight at the wild boar. Through the scope, the shape of the wild boar appeared clearly. With the thermal scope and the silencer, I could easily detect and take down the target. In the darkness, the wild boars were still leisurely foraging without knowing that they were in danger. From the ambush position, I adjusted the scope, taking down each target one by one. My teammates also opened fire immediately, taking down any wild boars that came close. However, we didn't have time to enjoy our victory. Through the scope, we discovered two other wild boars enjoying their meal. Without hesitation, I aimed the scope and fixed it on the head of the target and pulled the trigger. The wild boar immediately fell to the ground, struggling nonstop before being completely taken down. Its huge body made a heavy sound when it hit the ground. The noise caused the other wild boars in the herd to panic. But with the thermal scope, we had an absolute advantage. We continued to advance. The gunshots rang out continuously, each shot hitting the target. The later the night, the more terrifyingly quiet the air in the forest became, and the wild boars appeared in greater numbers. In the middle of the field, a herd of more than 10 pigs were leisurely foraging. They plowed the land with their sharp fangs, destroying every row of crops that the locals had painstakingly tended. As usual, the biggest wild boar was our target. It stood tall in the center, weighing no less than 180 kilograms. The gunshot rang out, and it immediately collapsed. The remaining pigs panicked, rushing into the bushes, trying to escape. We immediately approached, attacked continuously, took down the last targets, and ended the chase. It was just dawn. We cleaned up the spoils and returned to the trap location. Sure enough, it was not beyond expectations. A herd of up to 20 wild boars had fallen into the trap. At this time, they were panicking and trying to break the trap to escape. To ensure their safety and prevent them from escaping, I would kill them before opening the door.
But for now, let's go hang up these two giant hogs, see how much they weigh.
Overnight, we killed or captured more than 30 wild boars. People's crops were saved. The local ecosystem began to show signs of recovery. More importantly, the community learned how to effectively deal with the threat of invasive wild boars. Thank you for following this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next videos.
Prepare yourself for a wild boar hunt like no other. Helicopters roar overhead, guns are loaded, and below are giant wild boars wreaking havoc on the ecosystem. In this thrilling chase, it's all about speed, perfect shooting skills, and breathtaking action. Witness the destruction of 100 wild boars in a battle for survival, where everything is fast-paced, breathtaking, and ends with a surprise. Are you ready for a flight? The story begins on a rather uneventful morning. Calls are pouring in from farmers all over the area saying that wild boars are destroying crops. Our hunting team knows it's time to act. They're not just some furry, rummaging creatures, they've become farm terrorists, invading land, plowing up crops, and turning cornfields into battlefields. We immediately packed up and started our trip. The helicopter started, the blades spinning like a tornado. We quickly climbed into the plane with great enthusiasm. From the air, our view covered the vast land, where the wild boars were destroying. They were like mobile machines and not easy to approach at all. After about 15 minutes of flying, our radar picked up movement below. It was the first herd of wild boars. As the helicopter descended, the wild boars below us began to panic. Jack signaled the pilot to maintain a steady altitude, while Tom readied his weapon. And then, the first shot rang out. Perfect. A medium-sized wild boar was taken down instantly, with no chance of escape. After that, we planned to surround and continuously attack the next targets. The sudden attack caused the herd of wild boars to panic. They started running away and hiding in the surrounding bushes. But do you think they can escape? No way. The helicopter immediately followed, keeping the target in sight. Jack reloaded as fast as lightning. He aimed at the biggest boar in the herd. This one must have weighed over 200 kilograms. The hunt continued as we moved from field to field. Large herds of wild boars ran like crazy, trying to hide in the bushes, but with the speed of the helicopter, there was no way for them to escape. Every time a new herd was spotted, we circled, lowered our altitude and opened fire. One shot, one kill. Although they had split up and fled in all directions, with this helicopter, I could judge their direction. Not a single target could escape. The situation became more and more tense as the wild boars scattered into the dense bushes. The helicopter moved at high speed, crossing the undulating land to follow the trail. Another large boar suddenly appeared from the bushes. Tom quickly raised his gun, aimed accurately, and another perfect shot was made. With our experience and skillful fighting, we quickly took down each boar one by one. The number of wild boars gradually decreased, and every time a wild boar fell, the whole team cheered and celebrated as if we had just scored a goal in the World Cup final. The herd of wild boars started moving faster and seemed more nervous. They hid among the dense trees, which limited our visibility. However, our helicopter was equipped with a modern infrared surveillance system. There was no way they could escape. The more panicked the wild boars became, the more exciting the chase became. The opportunity came. Jack immediately aimed, and this time, when the gunshots ended, the final pig boss was officially defeated. After hours of fighting, the hunt finally came to an end. In total, we had killed over 100 wild boars, an impressive number. The boar carcasses were scattered across the field, and our team began to descend to collect the spoils.
Europe, home to over 10 million wild boars and counting. From the vast fields of Poland to the dense forests of Germany, and up into the rugged peaks of the Swiss Alps, wild boars are sparking an unprecedented crisis. In our mission, track them down and eliminate the threat. The temperature dropped to -12 degrees Celsius. The bitter cold pierced through thick layers of clothing, creeping deep into our bones. I joined a group of seasoned local hunters, embarking on a grueling expedition. We silently moved along the snow-covered mountainside, eyes scanning every trace in the icy terrain. Nearly half an hour in, it happened. A herd of wild boars suddenly appeared, dashing across our path. The silence was shattered by gunfire. The first boar went down. I quickly regained focus and locked onto the rest of the herd as they scattered. Shot after shot followed, precise, powerful. Years of hunting experience kicked in, and I picked the right moment, the right angle, to take down even more targets. Excitement surged through me. There were too many of them, so many I couldn't even count. I zeroed in on the most valuable prey, the biggest, fattest ones. Through the scope, we spotted a herd of wild boars sprinting across a snow-covered hill. Bullets sliced through the cold air, and with a bit of luck, 2 dropped instantly. A perfect start, hot blood pumping through freezing veins. As we scanned the terrain, suddenly a few wild boars slid down the mountain slope. Not many, but freakishly large. Thick black coats, massive frames, moving with raw power. They barely registered our presence before the gunfire echoed through the mountains. Each pull of the trigger brought another beast crashing to the snow. A rush of adrenaline as one by one, the trophies ended. We pushed through the snow-covered forest when distant gunfire rang out. As I arrived, I was stunned. My teammate had just taken down a monstrous wild boar. Its fur bristled with snow and blood, and its sheer size left everyone speechless. This was the kind of prize any hunter dreams of, a testament to perfect coordination and unwavering determination. We kept the pressure on, forcing the wild boars out of hiding. Dogs barked, voices echoed through the woods. The herd had nowhere to run. As soon as they entered our sights, we pulled the trigger, taking down targets one after another. A few panicked boars broke away from the herd, but that was a fatal mistake. When the boars began moving across the opposite ridge, I found the perfect vantage point. A lone sow broke from the group, crashing through thick brush. I tracked every move, waiting for the perfect moment. Now! But I didn't stop there. I immediately refocused, scanning for more targets. Things weren't looking great for my teammates either. There were just too many wild boars. Wiping them out in a single day was impossible. Still, we gave it everything we had, determined to bring down as many as we could. On our way back, while crossing another slope, I managed to take down a few more stragglers. Clean, decisive shots, no hesitation. After days of relentless hunting, we had bagged an incredible number of wild boars. But what struck me the most wasn't just the numbers, it was their sheer size. This hunt was an overwhelming success.
Feral hogs, an invasive species, now a living nightmare for thousands of farmers and landowners across the region. Fields of corn are destroyed overnight, native ecosystems are severely disrupted, and there have even been cases of attacks causing injuries to locals. What's even more alarming is their breeding rate. A single sounder can double in size within just a few months. In response, a campaign was launched. So how did we do it? Let's dive in. Early in the morning, we were already stationed on a high mountain ridge, known for its rich vegetation, an ideal hiding spot for wild hogs. After hours of scouting, we finally spotted our first target from atop a rocky ledge. And of course, I wasn't about to let it escape. In a split second, I seized the opportunity and fired a precise shot, dropping it right on the spot. A clean start to the hunt, and a clear sign this was going to be a long day. By now, sunlight had spread across the hillside when we heard a strange noise rustling from the nearby brush. Wild hogs have incredibly sharp hearing, so the moment it noticed us, it charged. Thankfully, we were prepared for any scenario. As it closed in, just meters away, I lined up a perfect shot and fired. Bullseye. Down went a filthy, black-haired boar. To reach the next area, we had to cross a steep mountain. By midday, we were resting by a large boulder when a loud crash echoed from across the slope. A shadow darted by in a flash. This time, there was no chance for a standard ambush. We had to go in fast and finish faster. When the range dropped below 50 meters, our team opened fire in unison. The skirmish ended quickly, another hog down. A few others, however, managed to escape deeper into the woods. There was no time to hesitate. One teammate immediately fired as the herd emerged, dropping one and throwing the rest into chaos. With a clear line of sight, we sprang into action. The sound of gunfire echoed through the valley, and by the end, most of the herd lay scattered across the dirt. Afternoon slipped by quicker than expected. We quickly picked up the trail of those that got away. In under a minute, several targets were brought down.
Aferin Mamacan.
10 minutes later, I caught a glimpse of a familiar silhouette. Before they had a chance to react, the whole team opened fire. Another clean takedown. As the sun began to set, the day's mission drew to a close. A long, intense, nerve-wracking day, but one marked by huge success. The vast fields of Texas are in ruins. Uncontrolled wild boar populations have invaded farms, tearing up fields and wreaking havoc. Farmers are at their wits' end as the damage continues to pile up. We can't let them run rampant any longer. This time, we're not just hunting from the ground. We have a superior advantage, a helicopter. The aerial hunt begins, high speed, heavy firepower, and no escape for the wild boars. Wild boar invasions are a serious issue in Texas, USA. However, controlling their numbers is a challenge due to their intelligence and elusiveness. Hunting and trapping measures have been implemented, but their effectiveness remains limited. Additionally, bringing wild boar meat to market faces challenges due to strict federal inspection regulations. The helicopter takes off. From above, the wild boars are clearly visible, scattering across the fields. The pilot immediately tilts the aircraft, maintaining a steady speed. We adjust our aim, locking onto the targets. The first round of bullets cuts through the wind, echoing across the fields. 2 boars are hit instantly, dropping to the ground. The rest desperately try to escape, but they are no match for the roaring helicopter above. 3 more go down within seconds. The first 5 targets are eliminated. The aircraft glides forward, scanning the fields. The crops provide little cover for the fleeing boars. We switch weapons, switching to semi-automatic rifles to maximize continuous fire. Some manage to slip away in the chaos. The pilot quickly adjusts the flight angle, giving us a better shooting position. Within minutes, we claim more trophies. As we continue the fight, the pilot spots another herd nearby. Without hesitation, the attack begins. The first barrage takes down multiple targets. Some are wounded, but still trying to escape. But nowhere to run. We quickly locate their hiding spots. From above, there is no cover. Precise shots take them down in an instant. Down below, dark figures dart through the grass. We lower altitude. The helicopter roars just overhead. The chase is on. Gunshots ring out. 2 more boars drop immediately. Another tries to flee, but doesn't make it. The pilot circles around, surveying the area before wrapping up the hunt. A few more boars are spotted and swiftly taken down. But we know this is just one battle in a long war. More herds will emerge, and the hunt is far from over.
shot me in the ass, alright.
Wild boars reproduce quickly and have no natural predators, so their numbers increased uncontrollably. When food sources were scarce in winter, they were forced to seek out areas where humans lived, causing heavy damage to crops and livestock. Not only that, some individuals became aggressive, attacking people. To overcome this situation, in addition to controlled hunting, villagers also need to take measures to protect crops, such as building strong fences, using traps properly, or raising hunting dogs to guard. Local authorities can support by granting hunting licenses during the breeding season to maintain population balance. This year's winter is more severe than ever. White snow covered the mountain slopes. The cold seeped into every layer of clothing. We, a group of experienced hunters, received a call for help from the villagers. The wild boars were becoming more and more rampant, destroying the farm. We could not let this situation continue, so we immediately made a plan to destroy this threat. Early in the morning, we were at the foot of the mountain. Together with our teammates and elite hunting dogs, following the trail, we discovered a herd of wild boars digging under the tree canopy. A few individuals separated from the herd and wandered around. These would be the first spoils of the day. Even the slightest noise could cause them to scatter, so each gun was raised in silence. The first shot rang out, taking down a large wild boar with shaggy fur that was digging under the tree. Then there were some other wild boars wandering on the hillside. The gunshots rang out, The remaining wild boars gathered into a large herd and then ran away one after another. However, from this position, I had grasped their movement direction. Adjusting the scope, aiming the gun at the leader boar. The gunshots had just ended when the target was taken down.